Shri Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ji Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ji Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Ācārya. Astoter Sita Shri Śrīman Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Ācārya. Astoter Sita Shri Śrīman Śrīla Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Goswāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission morning class on this Janmāṣṭamī morning. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rūpa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapatantikam. Oh, so many beautiful things. We're surrounded by beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things. Because when we begin to serve Krishna, automatically all wonderful and beautiful things surround us. Automatically. We want to offer the best things to Krishna. And we want to hear the best things that will bring us to Krishna consciousness. So actually, I'd like to start the class today just with the first verse of the Upadeśāmṛta. Because Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī is our supreme guru. And we are in the Rupa Nuga line. And he's giving us so many very extremely helpful expressions. Because he's the Ācārya of the process of progress. So that Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udaropasta Vegam, Etan Vegam Yo Vishaheta Dhira, Sarvam Apimam Pritivim Sisisyat. And this is our structure, our stairway, you can say, to progress. And always we're checking on that. How's that going? So this is really super helpful. And where we are, like Srila Gurudev says, first we see Vishnu. And why do we see Vishnu? Because we have to see the whole thing first. He's saying like the sun. We see the sun as a big fireball. As we approach the sun, we have to have a more and more subtle body. Otherwise, the sun will burn us to ashes. So as we're progressing toward Krishna, we are seeing something much more fine than Vishnu. But when Krishna first appeared in this world, in the prison home of Kaṁsa, yes, where Devakī and Vasudev, but they're seeing Vishnu. This is their feeling and relationship with him. And he's full grown with all of his weapons and his armor and his whole, everything, and with his garland, and very wondrous and beautiful. But he's giving Vasudeva instruction, you now take me. Because it was that Dwapara Yuga. That Dwapara Yuga where Krishna shows his pastimes in Vṛndāvan. This is not every Dwapara Yuga. But this was this one. This just now gone by, only 5,000 years ago. That Dwapara Yuga, Krishna appeared in Vṛndāvan. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti, anyway, Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, when Mother Yaśodā had two babies, a male baby and a female baby, but that female baby, that is Subhadrā, and she doesn't live in Vṛndāvan. She's in Dwarka Lila. Do you remember yesterday we were hearing how Mahaprabhu, he's seeing Jagannath with his flute, and then when something happened externally, the lady was climbing on the Garuda Stamba, then he saw with Baladeva and Subhadra. That is Dwarka Lila. And so he appeared in Kaṁsa's palace, or in the dungeon part of, maybe not dungeon, but in the prison part. And then he was taken by Vasudev to Vṛndāvan, and a jackal led the way. And then everything opened up, all the guards fell asleep, and Guru Maharaj says, everything Krishna does is nothing material. There's no rules and regulations of time and space and, all these things. They're not existing in Krishna Lila. He can do anything at any time. 1 minute it's this, then another minute he's there, and this, and all these things are happening. He said, but when he comes to the world, he makes it look human as far as he can. So, little miracles here and there, but, Vasudeva has to cross the river. He has to bring the baby with him. And, of course, Ananta Shesha is over his head. And then Jamuna takes the baby for a minute and returns him, Vasudeva. And then he goes to Yaśodā Devi's place. Yaśoda's resting. The babies are there. But he puts Krishna down. This is the interesting. And then he takes the baby, Subhadra. He just puts the baby down. But you see, he doesn't, that baby, that Vishnu became absorbed in Krishna. But that is not a physical absorption, like, all of a sudden it's this is because automatically, by Krishna's existence, automatically what is being accomplished by Vishnu is already there. He's going to be doing that. And yesterday, I was listening to a class in the evening, and Srila Guru Maharaj was talking about, not specifically Janmāṣṭamī or anything, but he was saying that when, just like when the governor comes to a city or a province, automatically the magistrate's job is being done by him. Automatically. So it's something like that. When Krishna comes, automatically what Vishnu does in every Dwapara Yuga, that is already being done. He said, he said, so the question that was in the class, the disciple who was asking the question, he's saying and I know who that was. That was, I could recognize his name. Oh shoot, now I forget his name. But I can recognize his voice. But anyway, he's gone now. He was in Venezuela. But anyway, he said, it looks like sometimes Krishna is like a double person, like there are two persons, or in some people, some devotees, there's a double person. And he said, yeah, can happen. What is normally done by one person, if a greater person comes, he can just do that while he is at it. So when Krishna comes, remembering this, just like the heavenly damsels are, they usually have some job to do, but when the Braja Gopis come, they're automatically doing that. So you could say those apsaras or those heavenly damsels are present with the gopis, but it is in that sense. Or sometimes Ramananda Rai, they say he's Arjun. Or sometimes they say he's Vishaka. But Arjun's position, or Arjun's nature in friendship, that is being accomplished by Ramananda Rai automatically. But his higher, like his actual self, is Vishaka Devi. So you can see that there are several presences being represented in one person. So when Krishna comes to show his Vṛndāvan, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Vishnu is his expansion of an expansion of an expansion. And so when Krishna is coming as an incarnation in most Dwapara Yugas, and Mahaprabhu is coming as an incarnation in most Kali Yuga, but this time, not. The original, Kintu Prabhu, So Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amena Tishtannana Avataram Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhava Paramapumanyo Govindam ādi-puruṣam tamaham bhajami. So his expansions as Rama and so on, Rama Adi, Murti, so they're coming to this world, Nana Avataram, one after another. But sometimes the Supreme Lord himself, Svayam Bhagavān, comes, the origin of all of these. And so this is that time. And we are so fortunate that this was so recent. This will be lost in the mists of time eventually, especially in Kali Yuga. Every semblance of anything good will be lost. But we can understand that. So when Vasudeva puts Krishna down, automatically Vishnu is going to be present, and he's not even noticing that. He didn't notice any transformation. He's put the baby down, and he's picked up the other baby. And he's not saying, oh, there's already a baby there. And they're just one and the same. So now he's taken Lady Subhadrā, and he's going across the river again. And as he's walking in, clink, 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 everything's locking behind him. And then the baby begins to cry. Little baby girl begins to cry in her divine way, and the guards wake up, and they hear that and go running up to Kaṁsa. The baby's born. And meanwhile, Kaṁsa is having all these like nightmarish experiences. He's like, he looks in the mirror and he has no head. I forget all the detail. He's dreaming about himself being in a cart, being pulled by asses, and he's all these things are going. He's just terrified, and he's like ready. I'm going to get. This is the 8th son's coming, and he comes running downstairs to kill the baby, and then he sees it. Hey, Vasudeva, why is this baby a girl? And Vasudeva, she's a girl. You can see she's a girl. And he says, well, whatever. I'm not taking any chances. So he grabs the baby by her lotus feet, and he's going to smash her on the ground as usual. And Devaki's pleading, oh, please don't kill this baby girl. She'll be your daughter-in-law. Kaṁsa, and she's so gentle, and then comes, I'm not taking any chances. And then the baby goes, she shows herself like Kātyāyanī, and this is a very fearsome. She's got her weapons, her 8 arms, and her helmet, and she's got all these ropes and clubs and spears and all these weapons. And she says, Kaṁsa, you're so foolish. That baby who's going to kill you has already been born in this world, and he's somewhere else. And Guru Maharaj says, she tells him he's in Gokula, in case you're looking for him. And Kaṁsa's like, oh, and then she disappears, and then he's oh, Devakī, oh, Vasudev, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it, I just, and Devaki's so gentle. She says, oh, it's okay. You just have bad friends who are advising you. Of course, that's true. He does have bad friends, and he loves their advice. And then comes, oh, I don't know what I was thinking. You want to go home, you can just go home. And he did, and all that. And then, so in the meantime, Krishna's there in Vṛndāvan. Mother Yaśodā awakens, there's a little boy there. Oh, and Krishna's always in Vṛndāvan. He may be in Vṛndāvan in many forms, in the form of separation, which is very powerful union, or in the form of union, where everyone can see him. All these things are going on. And now Mother Yaśoda's had a baby boy. And the whole of Gokula is mad with joy. And Mother Yaśodā is mad with joy. Nanda Maharaj is mad with joy. And his body is so beautiful. It's like they're drinking nectar. They're just drinking nectar just to look at his beautiful face, his beautiful form, his sweetness. And then Nanda Maharaj, of course, is giving away so many cows in charities, so much wealth, everything. And then he's organizing, of course, a great festival, which we are observing tomorrow, Nandotsava. But generally, Krishna is coming, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. I'm coming from time to time to eradicate the demoniac forces from the earth and to establish the principles of religion. That's what he's just normally doing. But this time, he's breaking all the principles of religion. And in order to speak Bhagavad Gita, he's on the battle of Kurukshetra field, that field. But he's not establishing the principles of religion in Vṛndāvan. He's a thief. He's a thief and a liar and a despot, as Guru Maharaj says. So you can't say that about God. It's like he's teaching the principles of religion to prisoners. And you be good, and then you can get out of this prison. He is not following that. He's not a prisoner. But those who want to see him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they're worshiping him. But as that. They loved that. Even in this world, they're worshiping Lord Vishnu, who have some human quality, or the quality of the demigods. They're always worshiping, but this is religiosity. Or they're worshiping him as a super soul and gaining some mystical feelings. Or in so many ways he's being worshipped. And in Vaikuṇṭha, he's worshipped pure-heartedly as a Supreme Personality of God. It is not complete worship because they don't really know about him as Krishna. But they don't mind. They don't care about that. They really are happy to be worshiping the Lord as the Lord. And in Vaikuṇṭha, there's no description of the opulence. His full 6 opulences are like, showing in infinite form. And the servitors of Vaikuṇṭha are so many different forms, many of them looking like the form of the Lord whom they're worshipping, Sarupya. They look similar. The worshippers of Nrsingadev look similar to Lord Nrsingadev, and so on. And Vaikuṇṭha is like that. And then what is above Vaikuṇṭha? Mathurā, because Krishna appeared there. There he has a mom and a dad. That is more intimate. But more intimate is Vṛndāvan. But as Gurudev is describing, first we are seeing Vishnu, and it is important to understand that Krishna is the origin of the personality of Godhead. Then we can understand that his pastimes are transcendental. Otherwise, we will become completely bewildered. I'm just going to put this on airplane mode, sorry. Otherwise, we'll become completely bewildered and think that his pastimes in Vṛndāvan are mundane. They're like us. The feelings between Krishna and his divine girlfriends, they're like our feelings. But if we can, and in the Bhagavatam is beginning, the beginning of the Bhagavatam is all about, descriptions of the Lord as the source of these universes. Not going to Vṛndāvan. Not going to Vṛndāvan at all. So we're beginning with that. So Guru Maharaj said that Krishna's appearance is something like a drama, something like a play, or like a theatrical play, because he wants to look as close to norm, like he wants to make it look logical to us, how things go, as far as he's able to. First there has to be an unlocking of the doors, because otherwise, how would Vasudeva get out? So the doors are unlocking. And let's see, what are we going to do with the guards? Okay, I guess they can go to sleep. Okay, they're going to sleep. Now that makes sense. Now he's going past the guard. And then the Jamuna becomes very shallow. Because otherwise, how's he going to get across the, there's, making sense to us. But he said it's like a play, because Krishna has no limits like that, really. He can just do anything about anything. Anyway, it's very sweet. It's very sweet to remember all these things. And, before, and why is Kaṁsa so afraid? Because he's driving the chariot of Devakī and Vasudev. I'm so great. I've taken the role of a charioteer because I love my sister so much. And he's driving the chariot like, a great loving brother. He's driving. And Vasudeva and Devakī are there in the chariot, and he's driving, and everybody's, and there's so many elephants and maid servants and great, pomp and musical instruments, and everything's decorated. The whole city's decorated, and everything's wonderful. And he's lovingly driving his sister. And then a voice comes from the sky. Oh, Kaṁsa, you fool. You don't know? You're driving your sister on her wedding day, but her 8th son is going to kill you. Out comes the sword. Not like, I really love my sister, but no. Off with her head. Instantly. And then Vasudeva says, Kaṁsa, why are you so afraid of dying? You're a great hero. You're the greatest. You're the greatest on the earth, Kaṁsa. Why are you so afraid of death? Death is coming to everyone. It does, why should you be so afraid? This body is not necessary for the soul. And Vasudeva's giving him some good advice. You shouldn't be so afraid that you're going to kill your sister on her wedding day. No one will ever speak well of you. You think, well, at least that's going to make some impression. No, not good enough. And he's still got that sword up. And then Vasudeva says, I promise you, every child that is born, if there even are any sons in the future, I'll give them all to you. That's what he had to do. So this is very intelligent time and circumstance. Judgment of time and circumstance. What can be done now to allay the circumstances? Oh, Vasudeva, no problem. This is nothing matter. It's fine. I'm going to take you to your home. May you be happy. But then later, he gets with his friends. His friends say, well, I don't know about you, Kaṁsa, but I'm just saying, if it was me, I'd lock them up. Because, he's making this promise now, but you know how people are. Kaṁsa believed Vasudeva because Vasudeva never told a lie ever, and everybody knew it. So he believed him completely. But now his friends are like, yeah, well, we're talking about his kids here, he's probably going to run away, and, that kid. I don't know, I'm just saying. Kaṁsa's like, this is true. And also Nārada visited Kaṁsa. Narada's like, oh, let's get this thing rolling. And also, the first 6 children of Devakī were cursed. They were cursed. They were going to be killed. Well, they not exactly cursed. They were cursed to take birth on the earth. And so the best way for them to not have to hang out here and go back to the heavenly planets is just to die as soon as they were born. So that was also a part of the thing. So Nārada knows everything about everything. So he's like, Kaṁsa, the demigods are taking birth, right? Did you know that? They're taking birth all over the place because Vishnu's coming. So, and they said, Vishnu's coming? Oh, that's probably the son of Devakī. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't like Vishnu. He's always on the side of the demigods, and the demigods are always... So he's like, clink, clink, put them in the prison house. And then one after another, these children are born, and Kaṁsa kills them, one after another. And then, so there's 6 of them gone. The 7th child was Baladeva, and Yogamaya transferred Baladeva. Apparently, Devakī is going to have another child, but Baladeva is transferred to the womb of Rohini. And suddenly, there's no child. And Rohini is with child. She's also Vasudeva's wife, staying with Yaśodā and Nanda Maharaj in Vṛndāvan. And that beautiful Baladeva is born. He's always coming early to prepare everything for Krishna. Wherever Krishna goes, if he's Ramachandra, then Lakshman is there. And however Krishna appears, Baladeva is there. So Baladeva sort of also purified everything from that other business that had to happen, and prepared. And then Krishna came. And the demigods are coming. They're making prayers to Devakī. Oh, you are so fortunate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all these wonderful things are going on. And prayers and beautiful sounds within the prison cell of Kaṁsa before the baby is born. And then, of course, the time came. The 8th child came. And all these things took place. And the descriptions of Krishna given, so we know that Veda Vyasa is generally in the Veda talking about Vishnu and religion. And Narada chastised him so much. Vyasadev's position is that whatever he says is like scripture, and everybody knows it. What sound comes from Vyasadev's mouth? Vyasadev's mouth is scripture. Yeah, anything that he says is believed by everyone to be completely the fact. Because he never manufactured a thought. Speaking of Manasa Vega, how the mind is always, it's like a factory, a thought factory, just any old thing, and we're listening. Wow. I thought that 5,000 times in the last year, and I'm just fascinated. I'm just going to pay all attention to this mind. But he never manufactures a thought. Everything that comes to Vyasadeva is coming down. So Vyasadev's writing all about religiosity, and Nārada, his guru, chastised him so much, and this is a miracle. Nobody's going to chastise Vyasadeva. But he's saying how much you did wrong. You don't even say anything about those great souls who are not part of this world. So what's in it? This is it? You have actually given the people the impression that religiosity is it. And it doesn't even take one to the plane of devotion. You've done wrong, Vyasa. Then, of course, he gave him the 4 seed verses of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. But in the conclusion of the Bhagavatam, there we're hearing about the birth of Krishna. The appearance of Krishna, looking like a birth. Looking like a birth. And all these things are given by Vyasadeva then. And then Sukadeva Goswāmī. But Sukadeva Goswāmī is sitting in front of the sages of the universe. The rishis, the great mystics, the yogis, they've all come. And Sukadeva begins to tell them the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I mean, he's not really talking to them, he's speaking to King Parikshit. But they were all there to advise him. That's how famous King Parikshit was. You know the story of King Parikshit, I think. And then Sukadeva is speaking to King Parikshit in front of all these Gurudevas' long, long beards. Before these big beards, they're all self-controlled, full of punya. Punya means power that comes from austerity.
Naked. Naked in front of them.
He's sitting in front of them. They're all rishis trying to, they have their own advice. Oh, you should do this, you should do that. And King Parikshit finally said, maybe you can all speak together and just come up with one advice, how I should be, my consciousness should be at the time of death. So then Sukadeva comes in. He's the only son of Vyasa. And he's saying, I heard this from my father. My father, of course, is not going to tell me anything wrong. And plus, he's Vyasadeva. So they're all ears. And plus, Sukadeva Goswāmī is so effulgent. And they know him. He's very famous. He's actually situated in Brahman realization. But he became the mouthpiece for the... Why? And he became the mouthpiece for the Bhagavatam and for Vyasa, because Vyasa was a householder. And they're not going to really take him seriously in terms of this Krishna consciousness. But they really respect someone who's fully situated in Brahman realization. And Sukadeva was that person. So he was given that job because they will listen to him. As also that parrot, because he also added some quality to that. So Nārada gave the seed of Bhagavatam to Vyasa. Vyasa downloaded through his divine position, the whole Bhagavatam, spoke it to Sukadeva, but then Narada and Vyasa are listening to Sukadeva. Not that, oh, I already know that. No, let's see what other quality will come, because we're dealing with the infinite. Guru Maharaj said, as soon as you think you know everything, you're doomed. That means you have not understood that you are dealing with the infinite. So Vyasa and Narada want to hear what Sukadeva has to say. So Sukadeva then begins the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first praising the Bhagavatam, and then Dharma Prochita Koitavatra Paramo Nir Matsuranam Satam. Anyone who wants to really hear this, he cannot be envious of the Lord. Paramo Nir Matsuranam. Nir Matsar. Matsar means envy. And Prabhupada said, if you come before a senior person, a superior person, and you feel envy, then you will not get the benefit from that person. And so Sukadeva is saying in the second verse of the Bhagavatam, Paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Those who want to hear this Bhagavatam, this is the ripened fruit of the tree of the Veda, but they must not have envy, or they will not be able to understand this Bhagavatam. Because this is all about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sukadeva is saying this. This is beyond Brahman. And it is beyond Paramatman realization. It is beyond Vasudeva realization. And then he's telling all these different things, how we also have to begin understanding who is the Supreme Lord in terms of the wonder of Him, and then we can begin to understand the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, or at least appreciate this, where He is at home. That is that Supreme Person. And then later forgetting about that, not even caring about whether He's a Supreme Lord or not. Yasoda is annoyed by that idea, as we were hearing yesterday. But the Supreme Lord, why are they saying such nonsense? He does not care if he's a Supreme Lord. So, but Sukadeva Goswami did not mention the name of Radharāṇī, because these big beards, they cannot. That is just too much. It's too much to think that Supreme Lord, okay, I get it, beyond the Brahman realization, beyond that position, Sukadeva himself, who is fully realized in Brahman realization, he's telling us this. We believe him. Guru Maharaj said, or I think maybe Gurudeva said, like you could hear a pin drop. Rapt attention. But if anybody else besides Sukadeva was delivering the Bhagavatam, it was Guru Maharaj, excuse me. I mean, I'm sure Gurudev said this also many times, but I'm thinking of a particular class. And Guru Maharaj said, rapt attention, not a sound. Rapt attention. They're going to listen to Sukadeva. So he was given that job. And so all the great rishis of the world will realize, there is something beyond this thing that we are trying so hard to achieve. And it's not hard to achieve it. I don't know. Anything that's... Anyways, but again, Sukadeva was not speaking of the name of Radharāṇī. But Garga Rishi, Gurudev was saying, Garga Rishi is referring to Krishna all the time as the beloved of Radha. So this Garga Samhita is a very astonishing type of book. And then, of course, Krishna is coming again in the mood of Radharani to distribute that. Krishna's divine wonder, Alola Chandrikala Sadavanamaya Vangsi Ratnanganam Pranayakeli Kalavilasam Shyamang Tribangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindam ādi-puruṣam tamaham bhajami. He's got this tribanga. He's bent in three places. He's got this moon locket. Vanamalya Vangshi is always carrying his flute with this threefold bending form. He's got this extreme, beautiful, divine form, which is like a monsoon rain cloud in color. Monsoon rain clouds really are very beautiful. Have you ever been in India during the monsoon? I didn't know what a monsoon was, thinking, but there, the color of the monsoon rain cloud is really beautiful. It's really dark, but bluish and bright. Really, it's quite a sight to see. But anyway, that's, obviously that's just to give us some kind of clue. Obviously, our eyes will not be able to behold that unless Krishna arranges that. But, and all these, these beautiful descriptions of the form of Krishna. And then Ananda Chinmaya Rasatmatayam Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhi Stabirya Eva Nijarupa Taya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhutam Govind. And all these descriptions of the qualities of Radharani are there in Brahma Samhita. But it's not mentioned, but then suddenly there's this quasar of, like a quasar of mercy coming from that same plane in the form of Mahaprabhu. Not just telling something about Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, which is given by Sukadeva Goswami, but he's saying one gopi, like that. But Mahaprabhu is just exploding the universe with this connection. Guru Maharaj said, it is here. Their divine pastimes are here in the holy name. And it is too much fortunate that we are here, he said. And then they're going there and everywhere. But that these things have come here is completely unbelievable and available through the chanting of the holy name. And then he said, through sound we can come to this? Through sound? Is it ludicrous? Is it really so simple that through sound we can come to the highest achievement? Is it possible? And he says, yes, it is possible. And then we have the 6 Goswamis who are giving us so much connection, instruction, and mercy to come to that plane of Mahaprabhu. And of course, Nityananda Prabhu, no question of approaching Mahaprabhu outside of Nityananda Prabhu. Who would want to even try? And the 6 Goswamis, and then our Guru Varga. And from the 6 Goswamis, of course, Krishnadas Kaviraj coming and giving Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we have the Chaitanya Bhagavat from Vṛndāvan Das Thakur. So many wonderful facilities are coming to us. And we simply have to try. And following the instructions of Śrīla Rūpa Goswāmī in Upadeśāmṛta. Very important. And all these different things. And the Shikshastakam, worshipping the Shikshastakam. And primarily in the beginning, Trinadapi Sunichena. and understanding all these things systematically. Otherwise, it's all very vague. It will be vague. And it will be... Vague is not good. We have to understand things carefully. How to approach the holy name. Because the holy name, we think, if I just go blah, 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 then I'm chanting the holy... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that in a very flippant way. But we can't make the name with our throat and our lips and our tongue. But we have been instructed to try by our Guru. And because we are trying, the Lord may be merciful and the real name may appear. But we must practice all these different things, and we have to try to always be engaged in Shusha Mano. Everybody knows that one? Tatenu Kampam Shusha Mano. This is the advice of Brahma. Brahma is saying, and this is also in Bhagavatam, Tatenu Kampam Shusha Mano. Vunjane Vatma Kritam Vipakam. This is the result. My situation is the result of my own activities. It is the fruit of my own activities. I am suffering because of my own self. Shushamikshamano means self-examination. And Su means auspicious or pure. Honest. Honest self-examination. My problems are caused by myself. Or they have come, some reaction is coming to me through my own behavior. Shushamikshimano, Bunjane, Eva, certainly, definitely, no question about it. Eva Atma Kritam. What I did. Vipakam, this is the result of that. Vidvagva Purbir, Vididannamaste, continuing to go through all of these things in the mood of surrender and service, in the mood of worship, Vidvagva Purbir Vididannamaste, Jiveti Yo Mukti Padesadayabhak. Those who go on in this way, certainly they will achieve the desired result. It has become their natural inheritance. So this is our mood. It is not easy to practice this, but we listen about it every day, and we're trying. And when there is some circumstance of disturbance, then Shushamiksha. We are bowing down. The Lord knows the purpose of everything. He knows the purpose of everything. There's a fan moving around in a circle. We think, this fan was put in here, there's an electrician, and then there's some light, and then you pull this thing, and then we get some movement of air, and we get some relief from heat. That's our perception. But what is the real purpose is in the plane of consciousness. There is nothing without consciousness. What we're seeing is not conscious. We've put this together, and this is the purpose of it. But there is a plane of consciousness, which is reality. And it all exists for the Lord. And the Lord is the only one who knows the full meaning of that movement. And we have to come to the plane of consciousness. And of course today is Śrī Krishna Janmāṣṭamī. And we are trying to approach the Lord carefully. Not just, we want to remember all these beautiful pastimes. The beautiful form of the Lord. He's looking, his eyes are like beautiful petals of a lotus flower. He's playing his flute. His eyes are beautiful, like Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Na Bhadavatam Samasitam Bhuta Sundarangam. Oh, You can't believe the beauty of his form. And Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Visheshas, and thousands of cupids are fainting to see his beauty. Govindam ādi-puruṣam tamaham bhajami. But there's a process. I always think, meanwhile, in the old cowboy movies, in black and white, there was a lot of them. It seemed like that's all there was. Cowboys moving. And there's and the cowboys are getting attacked, and then they're out there, and or something's going on, and meanwhile, back at the ranch, Ma is, doing something. So I always think we're hearing all these beautiful things, and we're worshiping them, and we're bowing down to them, and we're holding a big festival, and we're cooking and cleaning and fasting and remembering the Lord, and we're remembering this high thing that is so wondrous. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, we have our job to do with our self by this Shushamikṣamano. But we think, oh my God, it seems really hard, but it takes time. But we have to practice this. And in each circumstance, it may take time to come to that plane because the emotions become very strong. But then later on, because we know what we have to do, my Lord, this is good for me, this is good for me, this is good for me. As you like, whatever you arrange, this is good for me. And gradually, some sobriety and wisdom will come from that circumstance. Through that surrender. And we think, this may be this may be that. And then remembering Upadeśāmṛta, thinking, everything will become a little more clear, and progress will come from that circumstance. This is the way that we are learning how to view reality. It is the Lord's will. And what we're going to do about it, that also we're seeing. What is my service? But what I was going to say was, and if we feel a little bit overwhelmed by this at times, then Guru Maharaj says, then we must remember, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit, durgatin tatakachati. You try, and that can never lead you to a bad result. You try sincerely, that can never result in something bad. It can't. We're also, watching out for what we can do that results in something bad. But that attempt, that will never come to a bad result. It will always come to a good result. And then, of course, we're on the lookout for whatever else is in me that's going to mess me up. But that surrender, that attempt, will always be auspicious. It can never go wrong. Just try. And Guru Maharaj said, if you make a mistake, if you fall down, if you this or that, accidentally, don't worry. Just get up and keep going. Just get up, keep going, and you will have learned something.
The ground you fall on is also ground you help you out.
Yes, exactly.
No fear.
And Krishna's not
fear
like,
not.
Okay. But Guru Maharaj said, we must be our best friend, not our worst enemy. Don't sabotage your own progress. But that's, we have no fear.
No fear, yes.
And Gurudev said, be a brave servitor. What else are we going to do? Hide under the bed for the rest of our life. But brave doesn't mean obnoxious. Arrogant.
When you say about overwhelming, like if your feeling sometimes comes overwhelming when you feel, always comes to my mind when Krishna shows his universal form to Arjuna.
Overwhelmed. Yeah. Yes, he's there, and the Lord is.
Krishna, as in a connection to Janmāṣṭamī today, he takes the form of the little boy.
Mm-hmm. Middle size.
Like us.
Yeah, middle size.
To just get that overwhelming what he can do and what, this whole massive, incredible, mystical beauty, which we just cannot comprehend. He comes, in this beautiful, sweet, human-like.
This is really true.
That we can all have those feelings of love exchange in the 6 different ways, and just feeling like
it's true, and that's why Goptritve Varanam is the main pillar of surrender. To understand that he's my guardian, it doesn't really matter what happens. Whatever we do or whatever we try to do, we have our guardian. We're not orphans on the street. We have, and not only a guardian, the guardian. The Supreme Controller is now my guardian. So Krishna consciousness means I'm aware of that. That is the truth. And I must make myself aware of it under all circumstances. He is trying to help me to come out of this plane and make my way to Vṛndāvan. And our gurus are giving us so much instruction how to do this. And so we must be attentive to my journey. And also hearing something wonderful about where I'm going. But the attention has to be, how am I going? If we get dreamy, we're on a boat, like we're going to a wonderful place on a boat, and we get, the next thing we know, where am I? We have to be attentive to our present duty in surrender and find sweetness in all of the circumstances of our life. Because Krishna means sweetness. And he is behind all the circumstances of my life.
The word of duality.
Out of duality. Yeah. So, and now we're celebrating Krishna's divine appearance in this world. Krishna so far. When I was leaving Navadvip in 1985, we went to offer our obeisances to Srila Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj said, Krishna is far, but the devotees are near. So we're taking shelter of the devotees. And who is Guru? Guru is Krishna, coming in different forms to give us that help. So, Jai Shri Guru and Vaishnava. Jai Shri Janmāṣṭamī Mahāmahotsav ki Jai. Any questions about that? So we keep attentive to our job in this plane, chant the holy name, and try to distribute, like you guys are so enthusiastic for Harinam Sankirtan. It's really, really wonderful to see it. And wonderful to be it.
I have one thing, like you mentioned about this long-bearded old sages who've been at the Sukadevs.
Mm-hmm.
That they, when they hear that it's beyond, that they just, we know that must be just this. I was thinking about...
Well, before that, they were thinking of that.
Faith, that we're putting limitations on our faith, and that keeps us confined. If you just say faith is so vast and beautiful, then
it's a descending thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, by association,
Yes.
all those sages who thought that these pastimes, or that there's nothing beyond Brahman, They didn't. That was their supreme goal. Suddenly, by association and divine sound, that Shraddha came into their hearts. And our hearts also. This is all coming from the grace of the Vaishnava.
Yes, that's a great point.
Okay. Jai Śrī Janmāṣṭamī ki jai. Hari Hari Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Vṛndāvan Śrīmatī Śrī Parika Shri Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhanju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ācārya Astatara Sutta Shri Śrīman Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ācārya Astatara Sutta Shri Śrīman Śrīla Bhakti Rakak Shri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ācārya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ācārya Astatara Sutta Shri Śrīman Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Without him, we would not know anything about this. And of course, his divine appearance is tomorrow. So big Mahotsav, double Mahotsav tomorrow. Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Śrīman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. So when we hear this, we can remember, all these different associates of Mahaprabhu that we're hearing about in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Saparshad means with his associate. All the Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, Vakreshwar Pandit, all these different wonderful personalities. And of course, now Haridev Prabhu is starting to make notes, and it's really helpful to make notes. Then you think, there's so many, it's flooding of the Goswamis and all these different personalities who were the associate of Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and so many different personalities who are always with Mahaprabhu, Dvaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So anyway, Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Gopa Gopinath, Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Vṛndāvan Dham Ki Jai. Mathurā Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. And Śrīmati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Katyāyanī Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Śrī Janmāṣṭamī Mahāmahotsav Ki Jai, Nit Shri Mother Yaśodā, Nanda Maharaj Ki Jai, and all the inhabitants of Braja Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari.
Śrīmatī Śrī Lekha Didi Dasi Ki Jai. All right.
The assembled devotees Ki
Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. And online devotees as well. Śrī Lekha Didi Ki Jai. Śrī Śrī Krishna Janmāṣṭamī Mahāmahotsav Ki Jai. Lavanya Didi says. By the way, another one who's doing the notes. Right now, Lavanya is doing the notes, and she's doing it very nicely.
Oh, lovely.
About these classes. For these classes. Vimal Krishna Prabhu offering his Dandavat.
Dandavat Prabhu. Jai Janmāṣṭamī. Jai, Jai, Jai.
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 Indumati Didi saying Happy Janmāṣṭamī, dear devotees.
Oh.
And on YouTube, Inner Truth, he says, Good morning, Dandavat. Happy Śrī Krishna Janmāṣṭamī.
Very happy, Lavanika, that you're doing the notes. And please, your whole family is so wonderful and so auspicious. By Dandavat to everybody there. And just look seeking blessings from the devotees always. Jai.
Hari Om.